towns in the district become more and more Democratic. Now they have complete Democratic control of the town council. It's a town that I know Gina knows well from the Rancocas Valley area. So West Hampton is certainly going to be one of the towns that we're counting on election night. And we've spent a lot of time here. I mean, I feel like we say that about a lot of towns, but
yeah.
but we certainly, I mean, this is our fourth, fifth, sixth time back knocking on doors in West Hampton. So it's been good, and now it's interesting going out now. We've gotten stopped twice. Hey, we've seen you on TV, or we just got your mail or things. So the word's getting out there for sure.
Yeah, they also have a local race here in town. The mayor's up this year here in West Hampton. Mm-hmm. So, any kind of excitement that we can help generate, make sure people know how important it is. So.
Yeah. Because we do have a couple, local races in the district as well that are important, and John Wisniewski for mayor is one of them.
What are the issues that you all are using to define yourselves, your ticket, your candidacies against your opposition?
I would say willingness to do the work that's required to actually be an effective legislator, certainly demonstrating it by the way that we're campaigning and going into every town and trying to talk to as many people as possible, but also just being pragmatic about the way Trenton works, and that you can't always pick your colleagues. We can't pick the political climate that we exist in or that's going to be there waiting for us in Trenton, but you have an obligation in your district to deal with it anyway and put forth pragmatic ideas. Their message is basically send us to Trenton so we can vote no on everything.
You agree with that, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the number one thing we hear about when we're at these doors is, one, people feel that they're not being heard because they've never had an assembly candidate come to the door before. They never, they don't even know who their assembly people are. And two is just people that are plugged into state politics feel they don't have a voice. And that's where, unfortunately, our opponents try to always paint it through a partisan lens. They try to look at it and say, oh, well, why do you need two more Democrats? It's not about Democrat or Republican. It's about two people who are willing and able to stand up for the district and to fight for the district. And a lot of people that we talk to feel like that hasn't happened for some time in the assembly.
They say that you two are making it about national issues and trying to nationalize them, and they're the ones trying to make it about local and district-wide issues, and you say...
So I think I'll go back to the very night that we actually became candidates, which I think was back in March 21st. The first words out of my mouth were school funding. We have always made this about issues that are near and dear to the district and to the state. We're talking about the affordability crisis. We're talking about property taxes. We're talking about infrastructure investment. We're talking about helping small businesses. With respect to larger issues, I think it's important for people to understand who represents them and where their values are. But we've never made any bones about the fact that we're focused on district-specific issues.
Yeah, I mean, I think we would completely retort that accusation. Here's actually, and I'm happy to give it to you, kind of the issues that we're highlighting, which include property taxes, school funding, access to health care, a lot of the local issues. But, to say that we are the ones making it about national issues, I think is a distortion because, we're not the ones that get 93% rating of the NRA, which is completely out of lockstep with the New Jersey voter. We're not the ones who voted, to support the Trump tax plan, in the Assembly, the resolution. They're the ones that have kind of followed lockstep with the Trump Republican Party, and in doing so, they've left a lot of voters behind. That's why we talk to Republican voters who want to reach out and support us. That's why we talk to unaffiliated voters who previously voted Republican but now are looking for a Democratic option, because we're the ones that are focusing on the local issues, while the Republicans in this area have just focused on, well, what can I do to appease the national party and the leadership above us?
Guns, Gina, has that become a real dividing line for you in this race?
Look, I mean, gun violence is something that affects all of us, regardless of party and regardless of where we live. We've seen every kind of community affected by it. We go out there and talk to voters. People are worried about their safety of their kids and about being in public places. And, New Jersey has done a lot on this issue, but we're still basically victimized literally by states that aren't as strong on gun control, by federal officials who won't do their jobs on the issue. And we think it's something that we have a responsibility to speak to.
And what is the ground game plan for the final weeks here? You're kind of within the final month. Is there a strategy to hit the finish tape?
Well, I think Gina and I, one of the reasons why we've been such a good team is we kind of view politics the same way. commercials are great, the mail is great, everything we're doing to spread the word, it's fantastic. But really, where elections are won and lost in New Jersey are doing what we're doing today. It's going door to door, block to block, reaching out to voters. And we don't try to meddle in the decisions of who we're targeting, where we're going. We have our campaign team for that. We're just doing everything we can to hit as many doors as possible, talk to as many voters as possible, let them know about our message, and we're confident if we do that, we're going to get across the finish line.
Sensing a lot of anger out there. Are you encountering anger? Has this space been saturated with the national anger that we're experiencing?
It's hard to escape, obviously, what's going on nationally. I've certainly had people just flat out say to me, I can't vote Republican in good conscience as long as that guy is in the White House. People feel that the party no longer represents what they think it used to. And they feel like they have to send a message that they want smart, responsible people in office who are qualified to be doing what they're doing and speaking to the issues and not to partisanship. So it's not something that I actively focus on when I'm engaged with a voter, but if they bring it up, which often they do, it's there.
The other thing too is talking to them today, they are eager to make the case that this is Camden coming to Burlington County, that the Camden Democratic Party is behind you and people are not going to get independent representation. What do you say to that?
Look, we've gotten that a lot. We get people that say, "Oh, well, you're just going to be another South Jersey Democrat," and I remind them, "No, well, I'm just a Democrat that lives in South Jersey. Neither of us have ever run for office before. Never, put my name out there for anything. I practice law. I help working men and women. That's what I'm trying to do here. And we're not running some sort of machine campaign. We're going out there talking to the voters directly. And the number one thing that I think Gina and I want to try to establish about ourselves is we're running to be independent voices. We don't have some grand ambitions. We're not trying to use this as a stepping stone. We're trying to go out there and fight for our district, and we're going to do that. The only people we're going to answer to when we're in Trenton are the people of the 8th District.
Yeah, I mean, look, the gains that the Democrat Party have made in Burlington County are because of the efforts of Burlington County Democrats. I mean, these are homegrown victories and homegrown candidates who've put their time in over the years with the organization, and we're finally seeing the changes come to fruition. And for my part, I've wanted to run for office since I was 9 years old, and I pretty much formed my political viewpoints when I was in college. So, I come fully formed into this race without any other influences.
Anything that you both want to add at this particular point in time?
No, sure. I think, it gets back to that foundational choice. I think Gina and I, in both our careers, we've been advocates. We've been advocates for positive change. We've been advocates for working men and women and to bring positive change to our communities. That's what we're doing here. We're not trying to seek any glory or the glamour of the position. Like I said, we're not trying to use this as a stepping stone. It's just that for too long, the 8th District has been ignored in the Assembly. And you see that in the results or lack of results that we've encountered over the last few years. We want to change that, and we think that when voters go into the booth on November 5th, they have that foundational choice of, do you want people that are going to fight for you and advocate for you, or do you want people who are just going to follow their national party and try to do whatever they can to get the next position and the next, great fame?
I've said from the beginning, and I'll continue to say it until Election Day, that this is fundamentally a job interview, and you want people who are the most qualified candidates, who have demonstrated a work ethic and a willingness to be effective. And when the rubber meets the road, who's going to actually, perform better and speak to the issues and stick to a message, which I think we have.